is a creative wellness movement and home that seeks to empower artists of color through creative therapy by beautifully blending our ancient Sudanese and Kurdish heritage with the healing art forms of music, design, literature, scent alchemy, and bodywork. Along with being women of color, alchemists, and wellness practitioners, we are artists. In combining our spiritual and wellness experience with our artistry, we are able to hold space, empower, and support other artists in creative, inspiring, and impactful ways. Welcome to Haremesque.
Do you care what other people think, say, or do? Stop giving a fuck. Are you afraid that any idea you think of will eventually fail, so you stop yourself from even beginning? Stop giving a fuck. Do you have a negative internal dialogue that causes you to sabotage all things great in your life? Please stop doing that shit. Oh, and if you're the bullshit asshole that's projected your insecurities onto all of us who shouldn't give a fuck, but do, because of people like you, bless you. Fuck you. Have a great day.
Hello!
We're back!
We're
Hello.
so much more alive today than we were yesterday. Because we've only been doing creative work.
We have, yes.
I don't know what order yesterday's podcast will be in, but
Yes.
we were talking about how you should not do admin. What's the other word for like admin type work?
There is a word. What is it? It's like
Your numbers brain. Well, I guess numbers can be creative too.
yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
what
you shouldn't mix administrative type work with creative work. Even though admin work can be creative for the person that loves it. Not us. Not Azza. Not Lana.
No.
Anyway, whatever. Let's not already start off on some random blah, blah, blah.
Because we actually have a subject. I mean, we always have a subject. But we have
not giving a fuck.
The topic.
Fuck.
Not giving a fuck is the topic. Yeah. So.
Yeah, not giving a fuck is very important in this day and age. I mean, it's always been important, but especially in the digital age, I think. Yeah?
Definitely. Especially for people like us, women like us, you know, with the backgrounds that we've come from, I think it's so important to be unapologetic. I think it's so important to just authentically express who we are all the time. And that comes with not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we know, like, all those thoughts of, what will this person think of me and that? And, you know, all the things we grew up with that are ingrained, you know, that stop us from being our authentic selves. It's really important for us to be our authentic selves because of colonization.
No, you can take it there already. Okay.
Basically.
Yeah. Growing up, I was taught to give a fuck. So I'm just naturally a very rebellious person, and caring doesn't feel good. And you know, so not giving a fuck is fun, and it's provocative most of the time for me at least, which I love. It's inspiring, and I just don't follow rules. I've never liked to follow rules. But there was a period, I mean, you know, you hit puberty.
Yeah.
And you start really caring.
Yeah.
Even if you don't realize it, you start really, like, maybe you're still rebelling against what your parents taught you and your family. But, 1 second, y'all. We want to make sure that our recording, let's not talk about the other day. We recorded for 4 minutes and we're talking for like 2 hours. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Oh,
so you hit puberty,
and you might still be a rebel, right? If you're the first generation kid like us. I think a lot of first generation kids are pretty rebellious, just because you know there's that. And love my family, and I love my parents, but it's two different worlds, and you don't really know what's happening, so you're clashing, and your parents are just, you know, trying to protect you and raising you the best way that they know how to, but it's a whole different world, and you've been raised in this world that they're so afraid of. And you're like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm fine. This is my home. I get it. Like, but, you know, it's not that clear. You're not communicating in that way. You're just fighting. But then you go to school, and if you were in public school, oh my God, the worst shit ever. Like, you care so damn much about what people think and how you look and how you sound and if you're smart enough, if you're athletic enough, and all that stuff.
What is that? What is that shift?
I think it's because we're going through puberty, and like our hormones are all over the place. I don't think we really know what's happening.
We're transitioning, aren't
also,
we?
If you're not taught, if you don't have parents, it's so rare that you have two individuals raising you that are like, listen, I'm going to help you prepare for this, and I'm here for you while you're going through this, and it's totally okay, and they're talking to you before, during, and after this experience. Yeah. You know, like, that's not common. There are people that I've met, maybe like 1 or 2 individuals that have grown up and had parents that, you know, held them and like prepared them. Yeah. And raised them in a way where, like, from the beginning, like, taught them not to care. But we come from cultures that care about everything. Yeah. So.
And my mom's whole thing growing up was like,
what people think.
Absolutely, because we're Kurdish. We're like the only Kurds in the village kind of thing. And so it's always
we have
like
to present ourselves a certain way.
Right, because we're representing. It's like my mom always has that representing thing, you know, like we're representing people, you know, don't be too loud, otherwise these people, you know, are going to think we're Kurds, you know, all Kurds are like loud people, and it was so extreme. I think also what came from me in puberty, I think the shift, even though I didn't really hold to this because I was a complete weirdo as a teenager, but there was this kind of desperation to fit in and belong and be part of the, you know, the cool crowd or whatever. And it's like, that's I think when we start contorting and distorting ourselves to like fit into a mold that is like acceptable, right? And all the masks start,
oh my God,
coming on. Wow.
Yeah, no, I totally had that too, and I was so weird. I was like, first and foremost, I lived in Utah and Ohio, and I'm Sudanese, so I'm African. I'm Black. My family is Muslim. And I'm already weird on top of that. So just like add all of that, it's just like I was such a strange creature. And I didn't know. I mean, I had like one friend, shout out to Marie Christie, who like got me for some reason. We just got each other.
An angel.
Yeah, she's awesome, and we had so much fun. And then in high school, I was part of this thing called Expeditionary Academy, which was like so dope, but it was weird for other people because be like, I guess I should just talk about the program now. I don't even know if it still exists, but it was one of the first, if not the first program of its kind, where it was like, it was very non-conventional. So you had to apply, and they only admitted 15 students per year. And we went backpacking, whitewater rafting, rock climbing, and we had a very non-conventional approach to education. We didn't have grades. We had portfolios that we had to present to our professors. Oh, I mean teachers, but felt like college. Professors at the end of each semester, and that's how you got your quote unquote grade, because we were still in public school, but we were not taught in the school. So we would leave after lunch and do our exped classes elsewhere. And a lot of kids made fun of us because they're like, "Yeah, you guys are getting on the bus, and where are you guys going? We're kids that go backpacking, and you stink when you come back from your trips." And it was just like, whatever. But so yeah, I was like weird. Then I was like the minority kid, because there were like, I lived in predominantly white areas, and predominantly Christian areas, Utah, Mormon, and then that. So I was just like, oh, what's wrong with me? But
right.
Still wanted to fit in.
Yes. Exactly same experience.
And everything was wrong with me, right? Like
internalizing, yeah.
And then I was being mean to like my siblings because I was insecure.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's where it starts. Yeah, I think puberty and being, because I had a similar experience of being like the only kind of immigrant kid in this predominantly white school, and it's like everything, I think I felt very wrong as a kid or a teenager. It was like, well, just what's wrong with me? What's like, and then it was like a lot of internalized self-hatred that I think it just kind of, the giving a fuck kind of amplified.
We gave
all the fucks. Even though sometimes, sometimes I'd rebel and it kind of seemed like I was not giving a fuck.
Yeah, same. I think a lot of people assumed I didn't give a fuck, but I really cared.
Really, yes.
Oh my god.
I really cared.
I did have like a moment where I realized, I was like, people don't really care about me and this, that, and I had like this strong moment where I was like, I don't know if it's strong, but I was like, I'm going to see everyone as guilty until proven innocent, because I just don't trust that people really like me for me.
Right.
So that was, I guess, a step forward, except I just didn't trust anyone, it was like a step forward and back at the same time. So I set boundaries, which was really awesome.
Quite wise, yeah.
But I just didn't trust, and so I had this like resentment and like anger bottled up, and then I started internalizing, which was not healthy.
That's the thing. It's the internalizing that is so...
Yep, and then you act
toxic.
You act super cool.
Yes.
Which I did for a long time.
Me too.
All throughout college.
Yeah.
And when I moved to New York, I started getting better, because the beautiful, I mean, if you live in New York, you already know. If you visited New York, you might know, depending on like what you do when you're here. But the beauty of New York City is all the weirdos and the loners and the people that were bullied move here, and then they do awesome things, and they become the coolest people ever, and then you go back to your old town and you're like a rock star compared to like all the popular kids, the kids that were popular in school. And so then you're like, oh my god, I'm free, and you're able to kind of like shed all these like weird layers. But there's still like, we still live in this like social media world and all of that, so people get wrapped up in that, and it kind of takes you back to high school.
It does take you back.
And then the giving a fuck,
yes,
that stupid giving a fuck, happens all over again.
I think it's funny, I think social media,
it brings you back.
It does bring you back to high school, which are some of the most...
It feels very high school.
It does.
It feels like a popularity contest.
Yeah,
followers.
Oh, yeah.
And likes.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And everyone can see what you're doing, you know, who you're following and like who you're liking, and it just, it's.
Then you get all paranoid. And you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
This person stopped liking my picture. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
What? It is high school.
It can be an incredible platform, but you really have to be grounded, which most people are not, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then it's the classic thing of like people who seem to not give a fuck.
Really do.
You know, including myself on social media, I might add. But actually, really, you really do give a fuck. And yeah, that's
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
It is an interesting one.
So how do you get to the point of not giving a fuck? How did you? I mean, we're still working on it, right?
I'm still.
I don't want to say we're human, because we're human insinuates that something is wrong with us. I think saying you're human should mean like we are so incredible and powerful. I got that from Set Guru. I did not make that up. But I was very inspired by that. But so I'm not going to say we're human, because being human is incredible, and it's one of the most beautiful things. But everyone is constant. It's a work in progress. I think we'll all work until the day we die. We'll be working on possibly not giving a fuck. Because there are things that you should care about.
Yeah, and we will talk about that. I think.
How did you? What inspired you to get to a point of like, I can't do this anymore?
Well, I will say I am still, you know, this is a deep process for me, because there are areas where I really do give a fuck still. And
like what?
Azza calls me out.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, she calls me out. And you know, it's great, but I think it's really great to have an accountability partner who's also my business partner. You know, we're here together doing the podcast. Is that, like it can be, I can have blind spots to it, right?
Lana's blind spots are very funny.
Even though I'd like to think of myself as this perfect goddess who has no blind spots.
But you are perfect. That is part of being perfect.
It is, and I think I am.
That's what perfection is. It's actually imperfect to think that nothing is wrong with you. That's being imperfect. Yeah. So it's perfection. It's pure perfection when you know that you have blind spots and you have issues and you're constantly growing and like. Totally. So you are perfect.
Totally. And
see how nice I am. You like call her out.
But the thing that's really great is that because we work so closely together, and you know we're in each other's lives like a lot.
Every day, all day, every day.
And so, you know, we get to see how each other moves in particular spaces and different you know,
social settings,
different social settings, different spaces in the world. Yeah, just like life. And so it can be a situation where like I don't know I actually give a fuck, but I really do, and it will, you know, it's like I think it's mostly caring about how people perceive me or how people include me or not. And so it's kind of like, and that, you know what the thing is that really does come from childhood stuff.
An example for people that might not.
I'm sure
for people that don't recognize their blind spots.
Oh, for people, yeah. Like an actual concrete example. Mm-hmm. I can't think. Can you think of one?
Maybe say what you were gonna say, and I'll try to think of one.
Oh, so I was just gonna say, it's very clear. So yeah, I guess okay. So the process of being called out, I think, being called out is really great because then you're being made aware of your blind spot, and you know, then it makes me aware like, oh, you know, I still have stuff around kind of I guess, validation.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of mostly, I think it's mostly validation and giving a fuck about whether people like me or how they perceive me, blah, blah, blah. And I understand the root of it. So it's very easy for me to understand the root of it, which was definitely how I grew up, the background I came from, and the school I went to, and the experiences I had there, which was kind of, just microaggressions and being made fun of and being called these kind of racist names in England that yeah. So, and then it's kind of like internalizing all of that and feeling like, oh, there's something wrong with me, like everyone else is right and there's something wrong with me, and carrying that into adulthood as like, well, there's something wrong with me, but I need to be liked, and I need to kind of fit in, and I need to, like, I need people to just validate me, because that's like the, somehow that's the only way I think I'm going to feel better.
Right.
Or something. So the root, I think awareness of the root can be the easy part. And then it's like how to move forward from that, I think takes a lot of mindfulness and awareness for me, and just being, I'm very lucky because I have someone who can call me out in a really safe way, and so.
Oh yeah, I don't even know. I'd probably fight someone who tried, like, if someone tried to talk to you, like, it's funny because I'm like, I feel like I give you so much tough love.
Yeah.
But if I saw someone else try to be like, Lana, I'd be like, yo, like, step away. I'm so weird in that type of way.
No, I know what you mean.
I'm like mama bear.
Yeah, but I think so what I'm trying to say is keeping it moving and moving forward is still something I'm working out. And I think for me, it does always come back to coming back to myself, coming back to self-love. And, I may have moved in the world today in a particular way where I really did give a fuck, but kind of like trying to shift that for the next day and the next day and the next day, and always just, if I feel like, and I think it takes a lot of awareness and a lot of meditation for me, and a lot of like internal time, but understanding when it comes up for me to just like, okay, let's just bring it back to love. Let me bring myself back to loving myself, because I think that's where I start to not give a fuck. When I start to love myself, I think I don't really care about other people, because it's all about me. It's all about, okay, how am I loving myself? How am I being with myself? How and truly loving myself, even through the shit times, or the times that you don't feel great. I think that's when I'm like, and I've said this before in another recording, I keep saying it, yeah, it's like a muscle, like, and but the thing is, if people don't like you, who the fuck cares? Great, that's great. Then not to engage with that person. Like, I think we care so much and we spend so much energy caring, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what one person thinks of you. There's like 7 billion other people. Mm-hmm. Also, we're so...
Well, if somebody cares, I'm going to find that Dr. Seuss quote.
Yeah, I love Dr. Seuss.
My favorite, my hero, one of my heroes.
So ultimately, it doesn't matter. And I think if we keep reminding ourselves of that, it just... for me to be me is actually radical. I have to say, it's like a radical act for me to be me. Just, given the kind of, migrant journey I've had.
Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind.
Yeah. Beautiful. Also, that's the thing.
Dr. Seuss.
When we stop caring and when we stop giving a fuck, like,
oh my God,
it will free up so much energy. That's the thing with giving a fuck. I think it takes so much energy to actually give a fuck, because you're constantly like draining your life force to this energy of like giving a fuck, which is so it's like it's a lot, and when you stop giving a fuck, you're then just like blessed with so much more energy resource.
I think for us that's easy to say, right? Because we do a lot of self work.
Yes,
we've been
it's
doing it
easy
for
to
years.
say. Yeah.
But for those that are new to this and they're like maybe not even recognizing that they do care, it's understanding where it comes from, like why. And most of the time it's fear. We're so afraid that people will make fun of us, or like we have a great idea, right? Oh, it's not good enough, or other people have better ideas and I'm just starting and these people have established themselves. It's like this narrative that
imposter syndrome.
Yeah, you just create in your mind. And I think the first step is understanding that most of these fears are not real.
Yeah.
But a real fear could be like, this person in my life always puts me down.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, and that's something to think about, because that is real. And so the first step might be setting a boundary so that you're not around that person as much, or maybe even ending that relationship if possible. If it's a family member, oh, we all have them, the person or people that just like don't believe in you because they're, first and foremost, understand that they're projecting and they have their own insecurities and fears, and rather than dealing with them, they're just throwing them on you, and that does not mean that they even are aware of what they're doing. So rather than fighting them and feeling hurt and just running away from like doing what it is that you really truly want to do, but are afraid that this person's going to put you down, you have to forgive them. I know that's probably not what you wanted to hear, but like you really have to get to a point where you're like, I love myself and I love my ideas and I'm so passionate about them. You have to believe in yourself, and then get to a point where you are compassionate with this person so that you can detach yourself from those, they're like anything that they're throwing at you. You need to create a shield. These are just like really fast forward ideas and like ways of dealing with this, but it's a practice that you have to do daily. And some people have it for whatever reason. I have no idea, and God bless those people. Like there are people that are like, I just don't give a fuck, and they like, you know, that's so incredible. Like I admire those people. Because it took, like, you know, I've had like both for a while, and now I have more of that not giving a fuck than giving a fuck. But that's because I was blind. Like, I couldn't see what I cared about. I just thought that was me. Like, I didn't know. Like, I was completely just like, I don't know what to call it, sleeping while I was awake. I have no idea, and I think what made me realize it was social media, was where I was like, I'm depressed. I don't really feel good on this thing. And I'm constantly comparing myself, and I feel things so strongly. So on the internet, like especially Instagram, I could feel people. I could feel their energy. And I was like, what is this? Like, I don't like, and I could feel judgment. I could feel myself judging. And it just became this whole like, didn't feel good, so I would take breaks and then go back on. And when I took the breaks, I felt incredible. When I'd get back on, I felt like shit. So it was like, but it would take a while, and I was addicted to this thing, and it was an addiction to what? Attention? I don't know. Validation, whatever. But then it got boring, and I'm not the type of person that sticks around when I'm bored. Everyone who knows me knows this. And so I was like, I'm going to take a break, and it's been almost a year now. And I think that social media can be super powerful, but you really have to, I had to take a step back and really look at myself and really look at the sides of my shadow, like just to like go and dive into my shadow and understand why I was why I compare myself and
Right.
why I don't think I'm worthy or good enough, why I put myself down, why I'm overly critical. I mean, I'm an artist. That's like the artist story, right? But it doesn't have to be. You can totally transmute those things and you can make them your superpower. But for me personally, and I don't think this is for everyone, because I have plenty of friends that social media, they've made a career out of being on social media, and I think that's incredible. And they too have to set boundaries for themselves. But for me, I'm lucky enough to not have to rely on it.
Right.
So, and I think, like, who knows? Like, there's a Haremesque Instagram. I literally have not, I don't do anything with it. For like 3 years, I have not posted. And I mean, at some point, I probably will just hire someone to take care of that, if that's even necessary. I think for us, we love podcasting and we love YouTube, and the communities on there are just amazing. And that's actually what's helped me. Like, I have Lana and I have like a great community of people, but on YouTube, I found so many incredible videos, you know, like I love watching Impact Theory with Tom Bilyeu and listening to all the interviews. I'm super into nutrition, so I like follow a lot of, I think this doctor, her name is Mindy Pelz. She's like the keto biotic lady, and like I found all these really cool people, right? And I'm like, wow, this, like, it's really helped my self-esteem. Like, it's like, these people are awesome, and a lot of them, I mean, the common story is like they're all similar to us. Like they were kind of outcasts or what have you, and you know, didn't quite fit in, and had a lot of them have like hit rock bottom, and then they switched it, they transmuted it, and now they're awesome. And I mean, everyone's awesome always, even when you hit rock bottom, but like they have transmuted everything and like are doing really well and super successful, and just like, I hate saying this, but living their greatest life. But yeah, and it's nice to see that on YouTube, and like, and it's not to say you can't see that on Instagram, but I think there's a show.
It's also, and I feel like Instagram is more limiting than YouTube.
Yeah, right? Like you can do that on YouTube. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are
show,
people,
yes,
you can do that anywhere.
Yeah,
but it's just different.
It's a very
different way. You can kind of do whatever the hell you want, and it's not to say that you can't do that with Instagram, but you're not like constantly scrolling through a feed, and you're not. You can so follow different people, but it's not the same. Like, the energy of it is just so different.
Yeah.
It's, to me, there are a lot more pros to YouTube than cons.
Yeah.
And you kind of can make it whatever you want. If you want to spiral and you want to compare yourself, you can. But you have the choice not to. And you have the choice not to with Instagram, but I kind of feel like they put it in your face, and with the followers and the likes and all that stuff. Yeah. And the Insta videos.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, it's kind of, and it feels so small.
Yes,
right?
I was going to say,
Instagram
it's limiting.
It feels like you're like in this cocoon, whereas YouTube feels like the universe.
Yes, I agree. It feels like a little small city.
YouTube?
Oh, yes, YouTube. Shout out to YouTube.
I mean, Instagram, you're cool, but I just don't resonate anymore. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, not
for
sorry.
Now. For now.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. It's whatever, man. I don't really care. I don't give a fuck. Actually, the whole point is I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna speak my mind. We're gonna speak our mind.
Right.
Minds.
Right. I remembered also something. I'm from the UK. I'm from London. Shout out to London. But
oh God,
speaking of, because I was thinking of examples.
Fuck.
Yes.
Too much.
And as they're calling me out a lot on my Britishness, actually.
Oh yeah, I was like, you get that from the fucking
keeping
the
up appearances.
That show is such a.
Explain what it is.
Keeping up appearances. Keeping up with appearances, or keeping up.
Keeping up appearances.
It's a British show.
It's brilliant.
Oh my God, I think British comedy is some of the best.
It is the best
ever. But it's I mean, my parents lived in London, and Sudan, was colonized by the Brits. like many other places in this world. But
yeah.
So we watched a lot of British comedy growing up, and that was one of them that my mom really loved. It's so funny.
It's
really all about that. I don't even want to get into it. Hyacinth is the lead, and she's it's you can go on YouTube. Shout out YouTube again. You can watch some of the episodes on YouTube. It's a great show. Wait, is Keeping Up Appearances? Yeah, that's that one. And then you're getting served is the clothing.
Oh yeah. You've been served. You've been served. Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, that's the bright side, the positive side of London. But I feel like you're gonna say something.
Well, I was just gonna say that show really kind of demonstrates how
people live their lives there.
People live their lives there, and British culture, you know, it is like a reserved culture, which is weird given the you know, absolute like the amount of colonization that's happened in the world. You know, actually they're like all about being, you know, reserved and being polite.
Why is
and
that weird?
Not saying, I mean, it's just, it feels like we're gonna colonize the world, and then but we're gonna be like really polite and reserved.
Oh god, well,
you know, there's like
that's how they did it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's manipulation.
But what you see, the thing is about like Keeping Up Appearances is, especially to that level, is like there's this really big shadow behind it, which is actually extremely violent and like, you know, that. So it's the thing about British culture and growing up in that culture, there is this like huge repression of expression going on, that what often ends up happening is it comes out in these bursts of like expression, which are kind of, because it's so unhealed, it's kind of a bit strange. Like, so at night you'll see like loads of really drunk people, and like, you know, there's fights outside pubs and, you know, stuff like that. And
but then during the day, everyone is just like so put together and perfect and imperfect. Actually. Everyone's
very polite and sorry, you know, sorry for my existence. And the thing is, coming back, I will just say, because it's actually current. You know, British people don't think that racism exists in the UK, and it absolutely 100% exists. It's probably even more insidious because it's so behind the you know, closed door or underneath the carpet. It's sort of the way it's, people can present themselves in this very, like, you would think they're so nice, but they'll say something to you,
tacit racism,
with a kind of niceness to it, but it's absolutely racist. And I grew up because I went to school in the UK, but not in London, kind of like outside London. It was very much a lot of that, a lot of microaggressions like that. And sometimes you can miss it, but when you look back on what, you know, just happened or what they said, you're like, oh wow, you know. So so racism absolutely 100% exists in the UK. And I was going to say giving a fuck. Yeah, sorry. That was such a long way of saying that growing up in British culture, it really is all about giving a fuck, because you know, you have to be polite and you have to give a fuck about other people and respect other people, and that's good and everything, but it just is another level. And you mustn't be loud, or you must talk a certain way, or you mustn't speak in this section of the room, or there's so many rules, so many unwritten rules to British culture. It's all about giving a fuck. It's all about what other people think about you. It's all about keeping up appearances. And it's all about maybe being who you're not, just in order to be accepted by British society and having to fit in. You have to make people comfortable, you know? That was a lot of my experiences. Like I as a Kurdish girl had to make other people feel comfortable. As soon as any kind of difference came out, and people would start to feel a little bit uncomfortable, that's when it was not okay. Like, no, that's not okay, you know. And you would feel that, and that's a lot, you know. Okay, it's it's very complex the way.
Oh yeah, you still have that to a certain degree.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
I
So
called you out the other day on it.
yes.
Do you want me to give an example?
Exactly. Give an example.
It's just, I mean, it's a funny one, but actually,
I don't even know what you're gonna say.
Well, Lana and I talk about many things that are very like emotional at times and bring out emotions. But so Lana was being very vulnerable, which is great. She started crying, but then she was like stopped and was like,
"Oh yeah, that's a great example." No, that's
she,
a
like,
really good example.
whether or not anyone was in the house. I'm like, who cares? Who gives a fuck right now?
Yeah.
Like, you're being vulnerable and so real and raw. Like, just cry and like
when
like
I cry,
the fact
I
that
scream.
she like stopped herself in the middle of crying to ask, I was like, who does that?
That is prime British conditioning.
Yeah,
that's
you shouldn't.
It is
care.
all
especially when it comes to being vulnerable. I think that's really a good thing to talk about. Like, that. Don't let anyone tell you that you're weak or something is wrong with you because you are vulnerable. You're emotional. You're expressing yourself.
Don't
like,
cry. Like,
cry.
no, cry.
Please cry and express yourself. I mean, don't use that to like manipulate a situation. Like, make sure it's real, please. But see, yeah, if somebody calls you out and they're like, yo, this is just you're tantruming right now, which we've had that as well. Yeah. There's a difference.
I do tantrum.
You know the difference. Yeah. You have to know the difference. But
very multidimensional.
Like, don't give a fuck about being vulnerable. I have a very close friend of mine. I told her vulnerability is your superpower. It's such a beautiful thing, and there's so many people that internalize it and are afraid of it. That's how powerful it is. So
afraid of like making other people feel uncomfortable with it.
Doesn't matter.
What?
It doesn't. I think that's like the most important message that we could
impart.
Yeah, is that it doesn't really matter what other people think. It seems like we have in our mind, we have put in our mind that like we've created these stories that are so much bigger than like what they actually are. When you start doing the things, we weren't gonna do this. We were talking about this podcast for over a year, or maybe a year or so, and we just started doing it because it took us that long to like not give a fuck about oh my god, we don't have equipment and we've never done it before and we don't know, like, it doesn't matter.
Do we sound okay?
Who cares? Yeah, like, if you guys like this, if you don't like it doesn't matter. We're doing it. And the biggest takeaway from this for me right now is I'm using my voice. I'm starting to use my voice. I can feel my confidence like increasing. I feel happy. I'm like, wow, yay, like, I'm doing this thing, I'm taking action, I feel accomplished, I feel fulfilled. That's all that matters. Who cares what other people think? Like, when we press the publish button, awesome. If people love it, that's so important. If people don't love it, that's great. Like, it really, really doesn't matter. And you'll realize, like, oh wow, okay. I just like made up this thing. Lizard brain.
Lizard brain.
Yeah. For those who don't know, the lizard brain.
The lizard brain.
It's an ancient.
The oldest part of our brain.
Yeah.
The oldest reptilian
that's used
part.
to protect us.
Yes.
To keep us in survival mode.
It's the survival instinct.
So we're overusing it. And we're constantly in fear. We're constantly in fight or flight. So we stop ourselves from doing things that could be of benefit to us. So it's just a matter of learning how to quiet that part of your brain and only use it when necessary, when you're in actual danger.
Yes.
But we're not. And so you don't need to constantly be in fight or flight. And I guess this is a good way of leading into like ways of calming yourself so that you don't care, so you're not anxious and afraid and like running away and escaping from your brilliant ideas. And one way of doing that, like simply, is to breathe. Like breathe into your belly through your nose, and just like deep breath work. Find a breath work teacher if you really want to like get deep into it. Google, YouTube breath work. You can find amazing resources online. Meditation. So do some silent meditation, do some guided meditation. You can do sound meditation, get a massage. Just take care of yourself. Acupuncture, Reiki, Haremesque, body
yoga.
alchemy.
Oh yeah, and yeah, exactly.
But if you didn't hear me, since Lana was saying something, Haremesque, body alchemy. Why do you keep saying restorative? She's not even. Lana's hilarious. She's like, oh yeah, do everything except for the services that we offer, which is all of that. Actually, we offer all of that.
Yeah.
I know, this shameless plugs. Sorry, but this is our podcast.
It's good. Yeah.
Look it up on the website if you're not familiar.
www.haremesque.com /
body alchemy. But you don't need to do / because if you go onto haremesque.com, you can go. There's a body alchemy tab. But yeah, no, like I think it's like breath work, tapping is really incredible. There's so many ways to just like get yourself in a calm state, get your body knowing that it's safe, telling yourself, I'm safe. I don't think we realize that giving a fuck can come from a place of
anxiety,
feeling unsafe.
Yeah, I think because I was gonna say the reason, the reason we provide the service body alchemy, and why we do it, as well as all the other modalities that are all about calming your nervous system, is because when you feel unsafe, you're in that flight or fight mode. Fight or flight mode, which is that part of the nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, that's always on, and when it's on, it can keep you very high in that high stress mode, because your body thinks it needs to be, because your body thinks it's in danger, or it's fleeing something or fighting something. And the body alchemy that we do is all about cultivating the other part of our nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, that's all about rest, restoration, and digestion. And once we cultivate, I feel like it's all about cultivating that part of the nervous system, because once we do that and nourish it, and we're more in that part of our nervous system rather than fight or flight, we then actually start to stop giving a fuck, because we're out of the anxiety, we're out of the fight or flight mode, and we're in the other part of the nervous system where we're able to actually create and be ourselves and be authentic, because we feel safe. And that's why we offer body alchemy. The Haremesque body alchemy is all about that. Like all the art forms that we include in our service, in the treatment, in the session, is all about bringing our nervous systems back into that rest state, because that's where the real healing takes place.
That's why we record this podcast in a bed.
Yeah. We're in a bed. Yes.
We didn't start that way.
No.
And we realized that it's just so much better.
Yeah. It's so much.
I don't know what's going to happen when we start getting professional equipment. I think we're just going to have to still do it.
In a bed.
Yeah.
We're still going to lounge as we speak to you.
It's the best.
Because we love resting.
And we don't give a fuck.
Yes.
We don't have to be uncomfortable. Why would we want to be uncomfortable talking to you? We want to be in the most comfortable, safe environment. And safety, your lizard brain is going to make you think that safety is not putting yourself out there and taking action and doing talking about your ideas and actually doing them. You're going to assume that, oh my God, I'm not like, you're not going to think this consciously. Like, it's going to be a subconscious thing. You're going to assume that it's not safe for you to do that. So
Right.
get yourself to a point where you can just be chill. And if, like, you don't have to pay for any of that. Like, if you can't afford it right now, you can go on YouTube and just YouTube, what is it, 528 hertz, HZ, and that's like a very healing vibration, sound vibration. It listen to that. Put on some headphones. If you don't have headphones, just play it from your phone, wherever, and go to a quiet place and just listen to that. That is a start.
Yeah.
If you really are serious about not giving a fuck, then you have to start giving a fuck about yourself.
I think that's it. I think putting all the energy of giving a fuck about the external, put that all right back into you. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's good. I don't know if I have any more to say on that.
Me neither.
If you have any questions, thank you for listening. If you really have any questions about how not to give a fuck, or just you need a little more guidance and you're confused, or if you have any stories, anything, just feel free to reach out. We always are excited to hear from you, and any criticism, showing love, whatever, hit us up. Let us know what you want to hear.
Yeah.
On our next episodes. But yeah, please, please, please don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Who cares?
Yeah, we don't. We don't care. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We love you. Before we close, we just want to make it very clear that our Haremesque podcast and films are an artistic form of expression. Our conversation and visuals are free-flowing and are in no way trying to vilify anyone or anything. Thank you always for tuning in. We love you so, so much and look forward to seeing you at our next Haremesque experience.